On this edition of Freedom Journal Iraq, an operational update on bettering the lives of Iraqis. And more than 20 women joined Iraq's police force. These stories and more on today's FJI. Hello, I'm Airman First Class Priscilla Christensen. Welcome to this edition of Freedom Journal Iraq. Operation Omens of Prosperity is underway in Iraq. Petty Officer Vernisha Vaughn tells us how Iraqi citizens are benefiting from the coalition and Iraqi forces-led operation.
Restricting movement of al-Qaeda and allied terror groups is the reason why Operation Omens of Prosperity began. Major General Kareem Abdul Khalaf, spokesman for the government of Iraq, Ministry of Interior, says there's good things happening thanks to U.S. and Iraqi forces.
Some villages were not included in Diyala. The south part would go to Kut, the northern part would go to Kurdistan, and the southern part would go to Baghdad. No one was able to contact the center, but now it's over. We have lots of indicators that would point the success of this operation.
In Diyala, for 5 years, residents were unable to reach the center of the province. Now movement is easier and life is returning in big numbers. Petty Officer Vernisha Vaughn, Baghdad.
Adding women to Iraq's police force is vital to the security of the country. Senior Airman Scott Johnson shows us how Iraq is adding more than 20 newly graduated women to its force.
A celebration is in order as the Iraqi police force takes the next major step in securing the neighborhoods of their nation. This graduation at the Diyala Police Training Center marks the addition of over 700 members, including 21 women, to the strength of the force.
This is a great capability. It's a wonderful integration of what's necessary for success in the future of a secure and stable Iraq.
The new graduates display the skills they've learned over an intense 30-day training period, including riot control and manning checkpoints.
And to have an integration of women into the police force is just a natural evolutionary process. It's a great thing for the security, and having the women in the ranks is going to be a great addition and will allow us to make sure that there is nobody that is untouched by the security of the Iraqi police force.
The recruits are prepared for the job, having also learned crime scene investigation, search techniques, and law enforcement ethics. Today the graduates celebrate, but tomorrow they face the challenges and dangers of being policemen and policewomen in Iraq. But with their training, few are more capable than they of bringing peace to the neighborhoods of their nation. Senior Airman Scott Johnson, Diyala Province, Iraq.
Coming up, rock legends make a big noise for deployed soldiers.
Here's your raid report. Iraqi police detained 7 suspected members of al-Qaeda in Iraq in the Salah ad-Din province. Acting on a tip from a Sons of Iraq group leader, Iraqi police detained a suspected member of a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device cell. U.S. soldiers discovered a weapons cache in the Hamthar community of southern Baghdad. The cache consisted of 5 rocket-propelled grenade launchers and 1 RPG warhead buried in the ground. An Iraqi citizen approached U.S. soldiers about an improvised explosive device in his yard in the Zubaydah community. Soldiers found a fire extinguisher filled with foam and wires protruding and called an explosive ordnance disposal unit to clear it. U.S. soldiers arrested 3 suspected criminals in the Amel community of southern Baghdad. The soldiers took the detainees to a combat outpost for further questioning. And that's your raid report. I'm Petty Officer Andrew Krause.
Here are the latest Operation Iraqi Freedom headlines. The Council of Representatives continued both debate and negotiations on a proposed provincial elections law. Legislative sources said members came to a consensus on most issues. According to a source in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Iraq will reopen its former embassy in Kuwait this year. Iraq established a temporary consulate in Kuwait after the fall of Saddam Hussein's regime in 2003. The Iraqi oil minister signed a deal with Royal Dutch Shell to jointly use natural gas resources in southern Iraq. Iraq will control 51% of the venture, which expects to collect and process gas worth at least $3 billion over the next 5 years. Iraq's Ministry of Education said more than 6 million students started a new school year this week, and more are expected to join them at the conclusion of Ramadan. Families are returning from abroad, and more Iraqis are willing to send their children to school. Those are your headlines from around the region. I'm Airman First Class Shaylin Jordan.
Doylestown, Pennsylvania. My name's Ashley, and I'm a resident of Doylestown. I like it here because it's a really nice town where everything's within walking distance. One of the things we're known for is our architecture, especially the castles. This is Fonthill Castle, built by Henry Mercer in 1912. He lived here a few years, then decided he wanted something bigger. So we built this place. This castle is 6 stories high and has 55 rooms. Not all the castles here are big. This is Kids Castle. It's kind of neat because it was built entirely by volunteers because we have a great community here. This is the Moravian Pottery and Tile Works. They still make tiles here the same way they did in the early 1900s. I just want to thank you for protecting me and my family and letting us live in peace. So if you're ever here in Eastern Pennsylvania, come by and see us.
To prepare for future missions, Marines from Headquarters Company Regimental Combat Team 5 received refresher training taught to Marines early on in their careers. The participants received training in subjects such as the rules of engagement and escalation of force. In addition to the core training, the Marine instructors stressed practical application while practicing patrolling and detainee handling. The Marines were also provided the chance to perform live fire with a number of weapons in both daytime and low light conditions. In addition to simulated combat operations, the team members also received instruction regarding leadership and unit cohesion. A band made up of several rock legends is touring around the Middle East and performing for troops across Iraq. Army Staff Sergeant Vince Stevens shows us how the band is making a big noise.
Raider soldiers rocked out recently on Forward Operating Base Falcon. The classic rock band Big Noise spent the day with Raider soldiers touring the base and learning about what the soldiers do. The band performed for the soldiers in the evening. Army Interrogator Staff Sergeant William Brown had his Guitar Hero game controller signed by the band members.
Well, it's really great that they took time out of their schedule to support us. So I want to be able to remember this is my first concert that I've been to on this tour. And it was just, I thought it'd be good to commemorate something that it can always have. The handbill, you know, gets folded up, wrinkled, might get lost, but this will be with us for a while.
Big Noise consists of 5 musicians who came together from the bands AC/DC, Deep Purple, Dio, Quiet Riot, and Ozzy Osbourne. The band formed just recently and traveled to the Middle East to entertain service members with their brand of music. The band members said they enjoyed their experience and appreciated the cohesion between Raider soldiers.
Everybody at this farm has been really awesome. They showed us around. They showed us in great detail what they do. Yeah. There's some great teamwork here. Fantastic. We all talked about that. You guys work in teams.
Yeah, you're like a band
yourself. You like bands.
That's right. Yeah.
It was really cool. Really interesting.
So, and we love it. Absolutely. That's how we feel.
You guys rock.
The 1st Brigade Combat Team is part of the 4th Infantry Division and is deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. The brigade's mission is to provide security and stability to the 1.5 million citizens of Baghdad's Rashid district. Reporting for 1st Brigade Public Affairs, 4th Infantry Division, I'm Army Staff Sergeant Vince Stevens, Multinational Division Baghdad, Iraq.
And that wraps up this edition of our program. Be sure to log on to mnf-iraq.com where you can learn all about the progress coalition forces are making throughout the country. If you have story ideas, we'd love to hear them. Just email us at fji@iraq.cencom.mil. From all of us here at AFN and Freedom Journal Iraq, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.